There's been some huge UFO information dumps over the past couple of days while I've been away. It was like probably the worst time I could have taken some time away. I have a puppy now, so he had his jabs, and then he felt really poorly, and then that was on Saturday, and then yesterday, Sunday, my son, Apollo, 2-year-old, started feeling really unwell as well, so I just couldn't record. But I'm back now. But it was the worst 2 days because there was so much stuff that happened. So I'm going to be flicking through Skyfire News and getting us caught up, and myself caught up with everything that I need to be caught up with, and you guys need to be caught up with regarding the UFO tea. So starting with Danny Sheehan, who has been very vocal recently. I can't lie, he's been everywhere talking about information and all the rest of it. But this clip, I have been informed I needed be much more discreet about what I was willing to talk about. If it was going to continue to be provided the kind of information needed to function in the New Paradigm Institute. Danny Sheehan says he was told not to openly talk about certain topics. All right, and this comes from a brand new podcast that he did called Engaging the Phenomena. So we're going to take a little listen to this clip right now, and let's just get caught up.
In that article on the debrief, where Carl Nell essentially came out, there was another individual that I have not heard much about since. It's self-admitted in the article. It's somewhat of a pseudonym, but his name is Jonathan Gray. Has he also been involved in this process?
Again, I'm not allowed to talk about Jonathan Gray.
Okay. You're making this difficult for me, Danny.
Well, I can tell you this, that I was much more forthcoming as a general rule, and I have been I won't say admonished. I'll say I have been informed that I needed to be much more discreet about what it was I was willing to talk about if I was going to continue to be provided the kind of information we need to function here at the New Paradigm Institute.
Now, I find this very interesting. Obviously, Danny Sheehan is very in the know when it comes to this kind of topic, and he is the kind of guy to go to for information. Patrick Armstrong over at Vetted Podcast, so go and check out his YouTube channel, did a fantastic interview with Danny Sheehan not too long ago, actually. It was about a week or two ago. Really, really good, eye-opening chat that they did. But also, Danny has just covered this podcast. Patrick has just covered this podcast over on his channel in a video that came out a couple of days ago, where he goes into a lot more depth about some other crazy things, especially the topic of there being actual UFOs that are still operational, which, again, mind-blowing stuff. So go over to Patrick's channel. I'm not going to kind of rehash the same topic because I try and find something fresh, something new, as opposed to what Patrick's already done and other channels as well. So go over to Patrick's channel and check that out because it is very interesting. But the next thing that we're going to take a look at is this was just popping off all over the gaff, right? UFOs reported above the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. So this literally broke national news. Take a look at this.
2 Red Rocks Amphitheater employees saw some sort of dark metallic disc fly over the sky about a mile from the famous venue. This was on June 5th. It apparently vanished after a few seconds. Of course, none of this has been confirmed by any sort of government organization. There's no pictures, no video, but 2 Red
Which is crazy in and of itself until you realise that the National UFO Reporting Center received 38 UFO sightings in Colorado this year. So clearly, Colorado's the place to be if you're an alien. So if any aliens are watching this right now, head over to Colorado. Apparently it's the hot place to be. But what do you guys think of that? Obviously we didn't get any actual proof of it. It was just kind of a sighting that took place. But, you know, interesting stuff. Now, Ryan Garcia, a very... I'd call him controversial figure. He's a bit hit and miss in the world of boxing and online drama. He loves to kind of poke fun at Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and then get his ass kicked and apologise for it. But Ryan Garcia says that UFOs and aliens are setting up for the great, quote, delusion and the, quote, rapture. All right, this is really interesting. So this looks like it to be on an Instagram Live.
Aliens, UFOs, proved, even though we've been knowing of in years, since Roswell, there's a plan to slow, because you can't give everybody the truth really quick, because then everybody goes crazy and there's mass confusion and everything. So, and I'm not trying, look at, see, if I would have said that 2 years ago, then I'm crazy. But now that I'm saying it now, it's not so crazy because it's all coming out. So UFOs are real. They're setting up the Great Delusion. Look up the Great Delusion in the Bible so everybody knows what I'm talking about. There will be a great delusion set on earth. How do you think everybody gets deluded? Because the rapture is going to happen when Jesus raptures his church. Obviously, there's beams of light. What does that remind you of?
It's not me buffering, by the way.
Abduction. So the people left on Earth are going to believe that it was an alien abduction, and they're going to be set off with a great delusion. So all I'm trying to do is call people to Christ before it happens. So that's what they're going to do. That's the whole plan. There you go. I laid it out for everybody.
2 Thessalonians 2:11.
2 Thessalonians 2:11. I'm trying to tell you guys, that's the truth. It is what it is. Like I said, have I said one lie? That's all I got to say. Oh, he needs help. Oh, yeah, of course, because you're scared.
So there is Ryan Garcia giving a very, obviously, it's quite a religious take, the Great Delusion and the rapture. But I'm not a very religious man, but I can understand what he's saying from a more point of view away from religion. There is a lot more coming out about aliens, UFOs, and the Great Disclosure is definitely a thing, right? But it's just, whether it's called the Great Disclosure, I don't know, but it could well be. But the idea is, obviously, that the governments aren't information dumping on us because it will cause mass panic. At least that's the fear. I don't think it would cause mass... it could do. It could do. But, the government want to tease out information so the public become desensitized to it. And then they just, wham. And then when they do hit you with the knuckleball... and they say, there are aliens and UFO crafts, look, let's wheel one out of Area 51, you're not like, whoa! You're just like, that's happening, but cost of living crisis and all that. So, that's kind of the idea. On a loose term, obviously, no one's going to turn around and just be like, okay, that's cool. Everyone's still going to freak out about it, but it's just not to, the mass hysteria that people are worried about. But, there is one final thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, which I am going to go into further detail on another video because it is very, very interesting. But the Seoul Foundation has released a white paper titled Anomalous Health THREATS for Health Security Considerations for UAP. This is the cover photo. Obviously, we've got the Seoul Foundation down here. And then this is the title, the Seoul Foundation, the white papers of the Seoul Foundation, Volume 1, Number 4, June 2024. Okay, and within this, it speaks about the United States government recent acknowledgement of UAP has prompted renewed interest in their national security implications. While much attention has been focused on the aerospace implications of UAP, the potential health security dimensions remain unexplored. This paper examines assertions in recent UAP legislation, considers hypothetical health threats linked to UAP based on prior reported incident, discusses the challenges in detecting and managing anomalous health threats in general, and recommending strategies to improve US preparedness for these low probability, high consequential scenarios. That's a bold claim to make your opening statement on, that's huge. But let's read on. This analysis is speculative, drawing on definition of any recent proposed federal UAP legislation and a limited number of reported UAP incidents. It does not claim these definitions or reported incidents are conclusive and acknowledges that if UAP-related health effects are substantiated, they may have prosaic explanation. However, given the potential for significant harm, the report argues the accounting for these tail risk in US biodefense planning in prudence. While preparedness for unknown unknowns should not distract from high X probability health security priorities, the consequences of strategic surprise justifies some proactive risk mitigation. So, well, I don't really need to hash that over. You guys aren't stupid. You get the idea. You get the gist of this paper. It's all speculative and what ifs, not based on... I mean, it's hard to base your paper on fact when actually there's no definitive fact about UAPs or definitive proof. But that's just the world that we live in right now. Implementing these recommendations will require sustained high-level leadership and resources, but will leave the nation better prepared to assess and respond in all forms of health threats, regardless of origin. In this paper, we discussed the following key findings. The proposed UAP amendment of the FY 2024 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, specifically referenced the invasive biological effects and biological evidence of non-human intelligence in connected with UAP. Proactive efforts to understand the health security implications of UAP are warranted and given potential for catastrophic consequences from a genuine health threat. UAP-related biological effects that can be viewed as a special case, I can't read it, it's so small, of the broader challenge of anomalous health threats, which may range from exposure to radiation or directed energy weapons to unconventional biological agents. I mean, that is crazy. You know, we're talking about... This jumps from, obviously, health threats being, like, if we were to stumble across UAPs, like, radiation, all this. Now we're talking about getting fired at by weapons of, like, biological destruction. Like, what baffles me about this when I saw it was, like, what grounds do we have to be concerned about this? Do you know what I mean? Like, someone wouldn't... The Soul Foundation are busy people, made up of very, very busy people that lead very busy lives. They're not going to write this paper if they didn't feel like it was justified. They're not going to waste their time on it if they weren't somewhat concerned about it or had a reason to be concerned. And these guys are so in the mix of UFOs, UAPs, you know, disclosure. They've got samples of UAP material that they've been testing. And they spoke about it at the Soul Foundation on their YouTube channel. Like, should we be worried about this, you know? Anyway, back to the talking point at hand. Existing US biodefense health security frameworks have gaps in their ability to detect and respond to true anomalous health threats. We also make the following recommendations for the US government. Assign responsibility for all anomalous health threats to National Security Council, NSC. Directorates of Global Health Security and Biodefense. I can't read it because it's that small. I swear I'm starting to need glasses. This is crazy. But this is just... This really got my brain racking. I was like, why would we need to concern ourselves with something like this? Why would someone concern themselves to write a paper if there wasn't anything or any necessary need to? This could be all, you know, prevention over cure, of course, which is great. At least someone's taken the proactive initiative to do that. But there must be some kind of reason. Like, you wouldn't be concerned about this, especially not knowing, you know, you're just kind of stabbing around in the dark, aren't you, when you don't have evidence. But that leads me to think that there might be more evidence than they might let on. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button, subscribe if you're new, tick on my little bell to get notified whenever we upload to the channel. And until next time, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed. Can't wait to see you in the next one. I'll speak to you later. Peace.